Hey students, here we are in the middle of fall, headed into winter, and before we get started with tonight's content, I need to talk to you about something that we're all sick of talking about. Yes, masks. Whether you're like me and you take an old t-shirt and you've just cut the bottom off and you drape it over your face so you have plenty of room for breathing, plenty of room for all of that stuff, or if you're with someone that likes to wear an N95 mask, man, we are asking you to mask up while you are inside your life houses, and this is why. We want to continue doing ministry with you, number one. And so what we've been told is that if everybody has a mask on in your ministry location, someone tests positive, we still get to continue doing ministry in that location. The second reason is you don't know what the people around you are dealing with health-wise. You may have a friend that's sitting next to you at your life house who their parent is high risk. They may be living with a grandparent that is high risk. And so we need to be considerate of others. And I think the consistent thing that we've understood and been told is that me wearing a mask is more about me being kind and courteous and protecting you than it is protecting me myself. And so we want to do what we can so that we can continue to do ministry together going in through these winter months while we see numbers rising and all of that stuff. So please, please, please do what you can. Find a mask, and if you don't have one, your Lifehouse host will have some at their location so you can put one on. So if we have learned anything from the life of Joseph, it's that life is going to be full of unexpected circumstances. I mean, look at Joseph. I know he didn't plan on being thrown into a pit by his brothers. I know that he didn't expect them to sell him into slavery. I know that while he was in slavery, he didn't expect to be lied about and thrown into deeper prison while he was in Egypt. And none of those things, he couldn't have expected any of those. And even in the midst of it, at the end, we see him talking to his brothers and going, look, I understand that you intended to do harm to me, but look, God was sending me ahead of you to save both your lives and the lives of an entire nation. So when we look at circumstances like those pits and being in prison and unexpected circumstances, there's a term that our culture uses. It says, you know what, life is going to bring storms. And I wonder if you've ever thought about where that term comes from. I think it actually comes from a biblical reference of when Jesus was crossing a lake with his disciples. They had had a long day, and he said, look, I want to get to the other side of the lake. Maybe we'll have a moment to breathe, a moment to rest. Let's set out in this boat. And they climb into this fisherman's boat, and it wouldn't look like your ski boat that you guys would maybe go to a lake on a weekend. It wouldn't have looked like that. It would have been a wooden vessel with oars, and the disciples would have been the motor. And so you can imagine them getting in this boat. They start rowing. They get out to the middle, and in this region, storms in the afternoons or evenings were very common. I mean, heavy winded storms. And I don't know if you've ever been out in a boat when it was very windy. I will tell you from personal experience, it is terrifying. And so here are these men rowing in these boats, and the waves are crashing over the sides. The boat is going up and down. They're wondering like if it's literally gonna turn and tumble and just dump everybody out. And they look back behind them, and Jesus is asleep in the back of the boat, just totally calm. And it's like they've exhausted everything that they could do to get across the lake, rowing and sweating and, hey, row harder, we've got to get through this. And then finally they look and they grab Jesus and they go, look at what's going on. We're going to die. He looks at them, stands up, looks at the waves and goes, quiet, be still. And you can imagine the looks on the disciples' face as words come out of his mouth. The lake settles to glass. The amazement of going, man, even the forces of nature obey his words. And Jesus looks at them and goes, you have little faith. Where is your faith? And so I think about like the storms that we face, the storms that you've been facing over the course of the last year. Man, where does your faith lie? Does it lie in your own strength, like the disciples, to just muscle through and row through the storms? Or is your faith settled on something else that like has maybe failed you? You've experienced that something has been taken away, or something isn't what you expected, and so you see your life headed in like this. Mentally, you're kind of in a chaotic space about it, and you're panicking, and Jesus is just sitting here going, where is your faith? Is your faith in me? Because students, if your faith is placed in the right spot, allowing Jesus to simply speak into your life circumstance will bring complete peace. We're going to talk about that in your small groups tonight.